Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's the Burning Wheel. It's a duel of wits. We're figuring out who's getting married to whom or what. So here's the way this shakes out. Reza will not. You don't have to marry Reza, but he will not marry someone of your choosing.
Yeah, I think like what I was thinking of on the break was that obviously it won't be someone of my choosing. And like he brought up in his last point, like I've got shit to hold over your head. So I think the thing is like he's not obligated to marry at all. Like he can, I think the compromise, the really major compromise here is that he knows that I don't want to marry him and he can't force me to marry him, but he's not just gonna like creep out of the situation either. He's gonna like hold it over my head and make it hard for me or like whatever he wants to do, but like he has the ability to just stay here and with the knowledge that I'm not who I was with him before, right?
Yeah. So this is a subtle one, right? Because if either of you had resolved this more aggressively, one of you would have gotten what you wanted, and it would have like put an end to this in some way. But in a way, this only escalates it because you're like,
it just made it worse.
I don't get to pick who you have to
table.
acknowledge. You have to acknowledge I'm not going to marry you. So he's going to give up on that. He will have to write a new belief, but he's not going to give up on the other things he wants, which is to say the house and Nikolai. And in a way, you've almost made him more dangerous.
I have actually.
Yeah.
Because before he was under my thumb.
I love it.
And now he sees at least a little part of who I am and the ways I was manipulating him.
So, hey, side note, I'm interested in something, and that is if I get preemptively cursed with an instinct that makes you cast magic on me, what the hell magic did you cast on this nerd who you also...
What, Blue Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't want to give Agatha the ability to just suddenly like throw around magic spells. I think the only reason that was okay to flashback was because we hadn't done anything else yet.
Oh yeah, it's like the first scene for sure.
Also,
but I'm interested in that.
Like in her room, whereas I'm not as easily accessible.
Yeah, you're not.
Okay, so Reza must acknowledge he will never wed Alessandra.
This fucking blows.
Pursue other avenues. All right, and that was episode 4.3.
This sucks.
Okay, all right. So he may hesitate at the end of the argument, but I don't know. Like he's not going to pursue it any further. I think the two of you just like leave the room, right?
He makes the point that like he's got shit to hang over my head.
Yeah, what will everybody think if they find out about this?
Like I made the point very, very clearly of like, I don't want to marry you. This has nothing to do with you. Get away. So yeah, I feel like even though he didn't win the dismiss, like there's a moment of hesitation for her too when Alessandra realizes that she just sabotaged herself in effect. And so I think she does like take that step back and kind of escape the situation because there's obviously we ended on a really bad spot and there's no like immediately. I mean, we have angry sex.
He doesn't want to have sex with you.
No. Okay. Then there's no way to fix this right now.
Denied.
I guess so. Let's find out. I mean, find out if he hesitates. You can seduce him. You can make that roll because that's what seduction is for. Getting people to.
Yeah, I think that's where she would go. That's how she's always manipulated him before.
If he hesitates, then I'll give you the opportunity to roll seduce. If he doesn't, he storms out.
Okay. Yep. That sounds fine.
Okay. Let me find his steal here. I think his steal is probably like decent. Okay,
My steal is 5.
Yeah, he's got more steal than you because he's actually like
because he's a warrior.
He's like he thinks of himself as a pretty like tough warrior. But
has he gone to war?
No, but
As
No.
a curiosity, I'm just curious.
No,
like,
no. This kingdom has
war.
never. I mean, they send other people to war. He's stayed here to do those.
Okay,
things.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but he knows how to fight and stuff. Okay, so no modifiers, and just every success I get reduces the 6 from his hesitation. Okay, yeah, so he does. He hesitates for 4 heartbeats.
And that's enough for me to try and turn this nasty situation into, I mean, something equally nasty, but for different reasons.
Yes.
If you fail to seduce him, he will reject you aggressively. He's not gonna like, beat on you or anything, but you're gonna get slapped.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like the way that she has handled him up to this point.
Yeah. No, I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm telling you what happens if you fail.
Yeah, absolutely. It's already pretty garbage though, so.
Bleach loves getting slapped in RPGs.
Shut up.
I wouldn't say that she loves it exactly.
That was no.
Okay, let's see here. So seduce. Oh, I'm like already on the seduction.
Just already happens to be right there.
Right here.
What?
Base obstacle is his will. Okay.
Okay. His will's 6.
Reza's will is 4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, technically, this is her trying to manipulate him using a different tack than words, because those didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think manipulation-wise, this is adultery-wise.
If your husband's dead, it's not adultery anymore. I don't think.
The king. Oh, but the king's married.
Fucking
Okay.
the king has a wife.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
the
not
king has a
adultery.
wife.
No, this is just like shitty priorities.
Yeah. Okay. Staff wise.
No, get out of here.
I had to make the shitty joke again.
One important thing to ask here as well is that seduction isn't just like to get people to sleep with you. It's to use your sexiness to get them to do something.
Yeah, your intent. We're talking about your task, but the intent here is what? What do you get if you win?
If you win seduction, I basically he's real fucking mad at me.
He's pissed, yeah.
And I feel like the reason that she's turning to seduction here is to kind of try and back off of the everything has changed and everything is not going to be the way it was, more into hey, not everything it has to be 100% of a turnaround. We still have things that we share together and secrets that we share together, and maybe us not getting married to each other doesn't have to be all of a bad thing.
The
right?
implication is that you're going to keep boning him, even though things have. Okay, all right.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to not lose complete hold on this guy because
so it'll at least
really
prevent him from going off and doing
shit
something mental right now.
Yeah. Okay, so manipulation wise and what else could I? It's gonna be real bad if I lose this, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
He's a noble. No.
He is a noble. Yep.
Okay.
Difficulty 4.
I'm trying real hard. Is there anything else in my wises? I don't know. Probably not. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna fucking do it and hope for the best. Seduction. 2 modifiers. What's his will?
4.
4? Oh, fuck.
You got 2 and 1 6.
I have to use a fate point.
I mean, you've had the biggest exploding fate die thus far, so could happen again.
Nope, but it's 3.
Okay, so what does it look like when you go to seduce him? He's staring at you. There's the vein throbbing. You've just finished the argument. What do you do?
I feel like there's a thing that Alessandra does when she's turning a situation from we're alone in a room together to we're alone in a room together.
Right.
And he's probably familiar enough with that, even through like his anger, to see it like a change in posture, a change in like maybe she like downcasts her eyes and like looks up at him or whatever, and probably like has enough sense to look like she's been put in her place. But I would guess that she probably takes a step towards him and
and that's
reaches out.
I mean, even before that, like he sees the look and his face is just stone, right? You take a step forward and he slaps you like hard in the face. I feel like, I don't know, like does he knock you down? Because he hits you pretty hard. This isn't like a little playful slap. This is a like,
and she wasn't expecting it either.
Don't even dare. Yeah, and like snaps your head to the side. Do you fall?
I think she's been hit before. I don't think she falls down, but it's definitely like a shock, right?
Okay.
Because she's used to getting her way, and she's used to this working, even though they've probably had disagreements that have turned out this way before.
So your ears are ringing, and and you feel like the heat on your cheek, and he slaps you hard, and he turns, and we see as he goes to storm out, we see, having just been led into the room, the door opens and there's a servant, and we see Brother Miro, and Reza looks at you because Reza called you here, Miro, right? You had this conversation, and he scowls, and he just like storms past you, I think. And as he does so, he probably says something like, "I have no more need of your services," and like pushes past you and storms out.
Miro just kind of like nods very slowly and like takes his hand off the doorway, and you see there's like just like this trail of kind of blood where he's like opened the door, and like
he would have bandaged it before, would he? Probably not. Right? He's mad.
So he's got this like fucked up like hand for a bit.
Yeah, Miro would have, had Miro not spent like 2 hours staring at a moth, you would have arrived before this whole argument started.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here for the argument, I think was the intention.
The argument should never have happened. Yeah. Miro was supposed to come in here and fix it, or like mitigate. But so Miro, I want to do a scene with you and Alessandra, but I'd like to do that after we find out what Agatha's been up to, because I want to give
absolutely. I just wanted to be like, yes, I was on my way for that.
Cool.
Perfect.
Okay, so Agatha, what where do we find you?
Well, I think I'm in my mystery mobile. I need to solve this mystery, Adam. Of why is winter?
Why is winter?
So when I go into my workshop to try to get to the bottom of some shit, you'll tell me.
Right. Yeah. Roll plus sharp.
Yeah.
Time, threads, and
it'll take the rest of the campaign because I'm not going to remember it, and some other bullshit that I don't care about.
But I do have a.
That's an Apocalypse World joke, everybody. It's really.
I have an alchemy workshop. I think I've gone to my villa at the edge of the Darkwood, basically, where my workshop is.
Oh, so you just left the castle.
So I have to go like get to the bottom of stuff.
Oh, are you allowed to just come and go like that? You're the court sorcerer. What happens when the king is like, I need sorcery?
This is at the king's behest. I am going to address this problem. I'm on a mission.
I mean, no one's gonna stop you, but I'm just saying.
If people want to stop me, they're gonna get fucking turned into frogs.
That's right. We're gonna see some like lightning fucking going
on. So not sure exactly how I would address this problem. I think so. I've tried asking spirits before. And it wasn't the right spirits. They didn't have good information.
Yeah.
But it might be that if I ask some different spirits, I can get some better info.
Sure.
And so let's see here. I am good with shadows, mountains. So I think I'm going to actually speak to spirits of shadows.
Okay. Where are you going to go to find appropriate shadows?
Like maybe I don't even need to go to my house actually to do this. Now that I'm taking this approach, I think I go out into the city. City itself.
Okay. Do you have you have appropriate clothing for wanting?
Yeah, because I've got clothes. I have clothes and finery, so I have the whole
probably equipped. Yeah.
Possible presentation, and I own a pair of shoes.
All right. Well, then you're good.
And so I think, yeah, she like puts on these big heavy winter boots. So, like she doesn't normally wear shoes around the castle a lot of the time. But to like go outside, she'll pull on these big heavy like fur-lined boots. And you know, she was a traveler back in the day, so she knows about how to be prepared for the elements. And she steps outside the castle gate.
How do you get in and out of the castle?
I just go out the main entrance.
Okay, it's the main gate to the castle is very, very shut.
No, I think I go out the like by way of the kitchen or whatever. Like there's some kind of like side door exit that I will use a lot of the time. I think is actually more appropriate.
I think so too.
So yeah, it's kind of surreptitious, and I like, you know, trace along the outside wall of the castle with my hand, and you know, plod my way down into the village, or city or town or whatever we want to call it. I guess it's a city, really.
Yeah.
And I think I make my way towards the church.
Okay. Daytime or nighttime?
I'm thinking by the time I get there, it will be dusk.
Okay. So it's slow going. It's slow going through the city. It's become so like it snows constantly, like all day, all night. Sometimes it's a blizzard. Sometimes it's quiet. There's an icy fog that hangs in the city, and so when you go out, you see things. Well, you don't see anything, but like you would perceive people have left the streets. No one is just out walking.
It's like very, very quiet, right?
It's quiet and muffled and probably like kind of disorienting for you.
Yeah, no, it's tricky. And I think I rely a little bit on my familiar to kind of guide me because there's no one else around to like answer questions or anything like that. So I have to be like,
and I think that while you don't see it, we see it around you. You open the gate and pass by it, and lying next to the gate, like huddled up and very dead and frozen, there's like a body of an old man, his beard kind of frozen to his chest, his eyes still like wide, the body preserved by the cold.
And yeah, if they're not alive and moving anymore, I don't notice them.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're passing through, and this is I want to be clear that like this is like obvious in. Like, it's not just a few bodies here and there. It's like anyone who didn't have a place to go inside died in the streets of cold. So every alley has like a dead person or two in it. You know, there are dead animals in the streets. It's a bad scene.
Real glad I live in the castle right now.
Yeah, I think
and you're
Oz
walking
does a lot of like sniffing at them and like poking at things, and then will like catch up with me and like help lead me through. So I'm
and you're passing through this foggy, it's very like silent, it's like frozen Silent Hill. It's very difficult to see anything before it's right in front of you.
Well,
and you said
unless you're me.
Yeah.
I just can't see it anyways.
And you said
so yeah, I'm extra spooky.
You're headed for
kind of generally towards the big like monolithic church construction bullshit that's going on. Just because I think that's an appropriate backdrop for
the
doing
church,
some spooky shit.
The church of the city or the Cathedral of the Conclave?
The Cathedral of the Conclave, specifically.
Okay.
And like she's not really like intending to go there. I just think it's like a fun place to end up, if that makes sense.
Right. So you're just kind
this
of
is like a player decision, not so much a character decision. And what she's doing is she is like listening for these spirits of shadow because they are very elusive and sneaky, and to find a place that is sufficiently like, it's not just like there's a shadow there, it's like a place that is like steeped in darkness that she has to find.
Yeah.
And so
and it's perfect because you're going to the sort of semi-constructed the semi-constructed site of the cathedral, which has been abandoned now. And I imagine it to look like, as it emerges from the fog, everything is monochrome, right? Because of the snow and the fog. And as this dark shape emerges, you walk out into the plaza of the cathedral. It looks like a dead thing, partly decomposed and covered in like
like its
mold.
bones are sticking up out of the
Exactly.
snow. You know?
Yeah. So it's got a main part of the building that was completed. That's sort of like the skull of the thing, and then there's like a rib cage almost that extends out back, and it's all covered
like
over.
half-built buttressing and like scaffolding and all this kind of stuff.
And it's all covered over in ice and snow, and so it does look like mold growing on a corpse. It's got this sort of white fuzziness to it. I think more than anywhere else, we pan back from that and we can see the outside the cathedral, and there are like more and more as we pull back the camera. I would say somewhere in the like high dozens, maybe 100 dead bodies kneeling.
From all the people
kneeling,
prostrating
before,
themselves.
Praying for God to save them, and they're all just dead and frozen. So at first they just kind of look like mounds with this in the snow, but as you walk through them, maybe you disturb some of the snow, you can see that they're just like bodies pressed to the ground, dead in prayer.
And Agatha stumbles on someone's corpse on her way through the square and ends up at some like corner of this like half finished monument, where it is a place that is ideal for this particular summoning.
So the cathedral was designed with a massive set of steps and then a wide open area, almost like where you could go and sit and listen to the address of the patriarch. And at the top of the steps before the door, there's a podium, a big stone podium, and then the huge doors behind it, which obviously are shut. And there are more bodies at the top of people who tried to get into the cathedral, but who died outside as the door's impossibly locked. And there's, scrape marks and stuff on these big iron doors. The doors depict two of the archangels, standing one side by side. They're kind of androgynous forms looking out at the crowd. Their array of wings spread out through the door. And I imagine that this cathedral, if you're looking for a aesthetic like call on, think about like it's kind of like Guillermo del Toro style, like a bit like Pan's Labyrinth. Like angels, even when they're portrayed positively, they're portrayed as alien, right?
Strange, they're like impossibly tall and spindly, weird.
Seven-fingered hands, like with 6 joints. Featureless faces, but with skeletal mouths. They're meant to be a little frightening. And so there are these two archangels, and I mean you can't see them, but Miro would know at a glance who they are.
It's like, oh, it's that guy and that guy. So we see Agatha's she has like these like half gloves that are like fur and leather cords like tying them to her hands, but her fingers stick out, and she like kind of warms her fingers a bit and reaches out to the stone of the cathedral and like touches it. And then like begins like muttering and like fishing in her pouch for some stuff, and is like starts drawing this circle in the like shadow of this weird like half finished architecture in this little tiny corner, in like salt and chalk. She erased this circle to help her.
Okay, so you're doing the same thing you did before. You're making a circle outside in the cold.
Yep.
So there'll be a health test.
I'm so lucky I'm not there. This is fucking heresy.
Yeah. A witch's circle on the footsteps of the house of God.
So,
love it.
I'm bound in shadow, so I get 0 dice. There's no bonus when I go to summon it. So I do need to give myself some serious bonuses here.
So what is the task that you're asking the spirits for?
So when we get to it, I'm going to be like, I need to know who is responsible for this.
Reveal information.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that now that I think that this is like some kind of shady thing, that it will have happened in shadow, and that these spirits will be able to help me. And so for the cercination test, I'm going to do it for... I'm going to go for 3 dice, I think. So it's going to be ob 3. I'm rolling 5 dice. I'm going to fork in symbology, spirit-wise, Yeah, we'll just do symbology.
And this is for the assassination test?
This is for the assassination test, which is
okay. And the assassination test, what?
3.
So it's going to take 3 hours?
Yep. And then it's going to give me 3 bonus dice. Actually, let's make it ob 2.
Okay.
Because, yeah, that's when you say it that way, I'm like, I don't know if I would spend 3 hours.
3 hours in the freezing cold, yeah.
Because, like, most of the time is spent drawing the circles, conjuring or, like, binding the spirit is actually pretty quick. So.
But you do have that Fey blood thing, right?
Yeah, so I get extra dice. I'm, like, resistant to the cold. Okay, so I get 5 successes against ob 2. So.
Okay, so you'll get 2 dice.
I get 2 extra dice.
All right.
And yeah, so I think this circle that she's drawn is like this web of like, it's like eye shapes, but forming a pattern, you know, where they're like interlocking, all these like interlocking eye shapes as if it were this little circle that were cobbled in eyes, and they're all like directed towards this central point where
that was a spirit binding roll. Do you have the same amount of dice for assassination?
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, and
no,
it also
I don't.
auto re-rolled them. Roll
Yeah, sorry. Let me do
okay.
that because it's not open ended.
Yeah.
But anyways, I had mod of 2. No, Artha ob is 2. Yeah, we get it. And I actually need routine tests for this, so it's good that I can actually log them.
So as you're scratching the circle into the I think at the edge of the plaza, we see a figure, someone carrying a lantern. He's wrapped up in cloaks. He's got a big felt hat on. We see him carrying this lantern. We see it's a spot of white or of orange in the white, and you don't notice, right? Maybe we see the fox jump up on a stone, like a pillar, and kind of like look out, and we just see this person like hold up the lantern and try to look and see what's happening, and then realizes like it's just a mad woman, and then lowers the lantern and like skulks off into the fog.
Yeah, totally. Because I only have a reputation at court. People in the city don't necessarily know who the fuck I am. And so yeah, like in the middle of this circle, there's this like very ambiguous figure, who just like it's like got the like stooped posture of a plotting and scheming individual, and it's being stalked in circles by the wolf with 9 tails. Was it 9 tails that I was?
Yeah. You're the fox. Yeah.
Well, no, this is me, the wolf.
Right, you're the wolf. Yeah.
Anyways, that's the circle I draw, and now I'm gonna do some spirit binding.
Okay.
And I will ask the spirits of shadow, who did this? New season, who dis?
Okay.
This is what I want to know.
So it's ob 3.
And let's see, I'm rolling 5 dice.
It requires a strength 3 spirit.
Is there room for me to get a stronger spirit to get better information?
This is just a necessary. Yeah, it's a necessary. I guess it depends. No, I mean, look, your ob is gonna go up. So I think 3 is just that. It'll just tell you, the shadows will tell you what they know. But we got to talk about like medium. We got to talk about domain and medium, right? So
yeah.
Are you asking the shadows of this cathedral? Are you asking the shadows of the whole city?
Yeah, I think it's like, because I want to know who in this city, because I'm convinced that like someone conspired.
Okay, so the shadows of a whole city is going to be, let's see, the lake, the house, the sea, the castle, the mountain, the road.
Real scary.
I mean, the whole city. The shadows of this whole city are going to be. I'm going to say ob, a +5 to the ob.
Okay,
because it's 3 for like a castle.
Yeah, and a city is bigger than a castle.
Yep.
So it's going to be 3 + 5, so for a total of 8.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I start with the pool of 5.
Yes. The spirits of Carpathia.
So spirit binding.
All shadows.
I get 2 dice from that thing, plus spirit wise, apocalypse wise.
You summon Reaper. He shoots you with his shotguns.
The only other ones I can see here are astrology and Paths-wise, I don't think quite applies here. If it were about a slightly different thing, I might be able to swing it. So that gets me 5 dice. I'm going to put my mod at 4 because I need to roll the astrology dice separately. I will also spend Persona on this for an extra die.
Which things are you forking in? I only counted to 9.
So my forks are
let's
2 dice for free.
Yeah, let's build the pool.
So starting at 5, 2 extra dice from my Cercination roll. I'm forking in Symbology. No, did I say Symbology? Anyways, Apocalypse-wise and Spirit-wise for a total of 4 extra dice. Plus Astrology for a 5th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Good luck.
And I'm spending a Persona for an extra die, and my ob is 8. I'm at 6.
It's close.
So I'm going to roll my Astrology die.
Yeah, if Astrology die and you spend a fate to reroll a traitor. Oof.
But I'll spend a fate as well. So I get up to 7.
Yep.
Close, but no cigar.
All right. You call forth all of the shadows of the whole city to answer to you.
You think I'm fucking around?
No, you're really not.
You.
So I feel like we get little scenes of like elsewhere in Carpathia where suddenly, and maybe nobody notices, but like there's no shadow. There's either light or darkness. Suddenly the lines between these things have vanished as all shadow is drained away. So Agatha, what's your Persona and Fate count now? 1 and 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so I mean maybe we see someone reading and they squint and kind of like have to nudge closer to the fire to get actual light on their book. Yeah, and like this strange kind of like oh my god, everybody's shadow would disappear. Oh, that's so creepy. So
and yeah, it's at dusk too, which is like prime shadow time.
Oh my god. So like inside people notice their shadow just vanishes. Actually, Joy, I want you to notice this. I want you to be someone who notices this because weird shit has been happening to you like forever. But where are you? Where are you when you notice your shadow's gone?
I think I'm looking for Elisandra, who's not in the castle right now, but like I'm wandering the halls like fucking frozen, headed into like the main hall room with like this big like raggedy blanket wrapped around me. And like I peer into the main hall and then I turn back into the hallway expecting to see the light from the fireplace in the hall cast my shadow like into the hall. And there's just nothing. In fact, there's no like flickering shadows of the fire or anything. It's just all very weird. Weird shit is going on and I'm not into it. And then cut back to, whatever's the witch thing going on.
Nice. Okay. So I think these.
Do you make a skill test?
What's that?
Do you need me to make a seal test?
No, but it'll count at the end. Being exposed to.
Oh yeah, you do it at the end, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the scope of retribution.
I also have a thought, Adam, for a complication.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What I want to hear your thought. So this is. Usually, so retribution is the strength, to get an idea of it, it's the strength of the spirit plus the margin of failure. So it's basically like a 4.
Yeah.
Slightly more powerful. You almost had it, but then something went wrong.
So as an additional complication, like not specific to the whole like spirit thing, but just for like having made a roll to get a thing to happen, wouldn't it be funny if that particular Angel of Winter were around? And it were her shadow that fell upon Agatha.
I was thinking about that too, but I don't want to kill you. I'd like you to keep playing this character. So
well, I have a persona point, so you can't fucking kill me.
That's true.
Yeah, and also angels can be bargained with.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready for her to show up again just yet.
Okay, well then in terms of like things that complicate me from shadows,
I was thinking that the shadows would steal something from you. Like things like wind spirits carry away unlikely items. Muddy road will suck under a precious boot. But what kinds of things would a shadow take? I think you lose something to the shadows.
I feel like shadows like reach inside you. We're talking
and this can,
like,
this can be metaphorical. You can get them back, but you have to like summon the spirits. Basically, it says in the book, if the spirit steals something from you, you can't mundanely find it.
So a couple of things jump to mind in terms of severity. There's like a scale here that I'm going to give you, and you let me know just how sadistic and awful you are. Okay.
Sure.
So we could start with them taking. If I wasn't already blind, I would say like they should take my sight.
Yeah.
But they could take my ability to hear or my ability to touch, or they could take away my gifted trait temporarily.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think that you can always get it back, but I think the shadows take away your magic.
Yeah, that being the most sadistic one. Thank you. Thank you for living up to my expectations.
You just need to make it. It's an Ob 3 shadow. You have to like
go and this spirit is gonna get fucking bound. Just you wait.
But I think that the shadows. I mean, let's work together. What does that look like, right? You call the shadows, and the place doesn't get darker. It just becomes more. The shadows become more fecund with darkness. Right? They fill with a tension. They have a palpable sense to them. And maybe the shadows of the bodies like curled up at the feet start to like writhe and move, kind of like tendrils of shadow reaching for you in the center. And as we pull away, maybe we can see all these shadows kind of converging like ink spilled onto paper, crawling towards you.
It's like Don't Starve when you're letting the light from your fucking...
But it's like, so this circle of darkness like closes around her, and then she's like the last thing you can see, and she's standing in her circle, her like summoning circle. And then that's like what we see, and it's all in like drawn in red, and it's all these eyes, this massive like cobblestone of eyes that she's surrounded in, and the wolf in the drawing is like chasing the shadow. And every time it pounces on the shadow is somewhere else because it's its own shadow, right? It can never catch it. And every time that it pounces, it loses one of its tails, and then it pounces again, and like until eventually it's just a normal wolf, like digging in the dirt with all the red eyes. So it's like red lines on black background, all these eyes just like staring at it.
Nice. I like it. Cool. I will make a note on my little note screen here. Spirit costs. Spirits of Shadow have stolen the gift from Agatha.
I like the fact that this kind of implies that the Spirits of Shadow gave you the gift. Like, I mean, I know that it's not necessarily true, but I like thinking about it. Like, that's how it happens. Like, maybe like
they're closely connected to magic.
Yeah, like in your cradle, like a shadow fell over your face as the sun passed, and in that shadow offered you a gift.
Yeah, no, I dig it.
I mean, Agatha definitely gave up her sight for some power. Clearly.
Cool.
Listen, giving stuff up for power is the quintessential story of power.
I'm sorry, you may not have met me before. I'm metal as fuck.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
It's very true. It's very true. All right, so let's see what Joy gets up to. So Joy, your shadow disappears for a moment. And then returns.
Okay.
Now, I guess so. The
light, it's all good.
Yeah. So you were looking for.
I was looking for Alessandra
but someone has told you it's been made clear to you that Alessandra is not in the castle. She is gone.
Then I can't find her now. Yeah. My truth will have to wait.
Yeah.
I need to talk to the king.
Okay.
I need to talk to the king. I am going to find Tomas Dragomir Larix the 14th or whatever.
Okay.
Or failing that, his lady protector.
Sure. Well, I mean, let's have you roll circles. Because he may or may not be busy. If you want access to him, let's have that roll.
Fine. So what am I circlesing exactly?
So you're gonna roll your circles, and the base ob. It's gonna be difficult because he's the king. So just because you want to find him doesn't mean, in the same way, you can hide from him more easily.
I have the king as
your relationship.
Relationship.
So you actually don't have to. If you wanted to find someone else, you don't need to make that roll. So okay. So it's like dusk, and he's probably he's had a conversation with he hasn't had a conversation with his wife because she's not going to tell him about what you said.
No.
So I think when you find him, oh, I know, he's with his sister's, or he's with his wife's cousin. He's with Soren.
Okay, he's with Soren.
So Soren, Tabitha, and the king are in one of the rooms that the king uses to practice his sword play.
Oh,
so
okay, it's like a training room.
When you find them, yeah, it's like an offshoot of the armory. You find them in the armory. Tabitha, I think that Tabitha has a. They're all dressed similarly. They're all dressed in like sparring armor, like padded sparring outfits. And Tabitha is currently got her like helm off, and it's under her arm, and she's leaning on a wooden practice sword, and she's cheering and watching the king and Soren like wooden sword fight when you come in.
Yeah, so I slink my way into the room and sort of sidle up beside Tabitha and wait patiently.
Okay. She turns to look at you, and she decides she doesn't want to.
For some reason imagine her being slightly taller than me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's tall. She's lithe. Her and her brother are both like fairly athletic. So she's like sort of like she's still very like feminine, but you can probably see her like muscles in her arms because she's got her dueling outfit, like the sleeves tied up. And yeah, she has a thin sheen of sweat, like she's just been in a fight. And she's breathing a little hard, and so she looks at you, but she's like she's like, no, I gotta watch. Like she turns her eyes back on her brother and the king fighting. And I think there's a clash as they clack swords, and the king maybe like pushes Soren, overextends himself a little bit. Soren brings his sword down on the king's knee. The king drops a little bit. Soren flips around him, and then pokes him in the back with the sword. And then the two of them start laughing, and the king, he pulls the king up, and Soren like puts the sword to his forehead, and he's like, I apologize for my treachery, my lord. I suppose I'm to be hanged now. I think killing the king is treason in this kingdom. Is that not? And the king laughs and like punches him in the chest, and he's like, quiet you. I let you in.
Loudly from the sidelines, I'm gonna do the whole like, oh yes, excellently done, well done, good, yes, perfect.
And the king scowls, like he's like, ugh, I am not in the mood for you right now. But Soren laughs, and he throws the sword to a squire nearby and starts undoing his armor. And to another servant, he's like, a cup of wine and one for the loser. And he does like a big theatric bow. Your Majesty. And the king has walked the other way to put his weapon on the rack because you showed up and ruined his mood.
Oh, what? I ruined it? That's not my job. I'm supposed to be the good mood person.
So Soren walks up to you, and his sister says, she's like, you fight as if you're still wearing the half cape. They don't do that here. And he's like, I know, but and he like rolls his eyes, and she's like, so it's gonna get you killed. And he's like, well, it hasn't so far. And he looks over his shoulder at King, and he's like, if I can beat him, I think I'm doing fine. And then he looks at you, Soren looks at you, and he's like, what are you doing here, fool? Here to watch me beat the king? I'll have another go at it if it would amuse you.
Amuse me?
And he laughs, and he says, well, yes.
I think you have things backwards. I'm the one who does the amusing around here.
And he scowls and like wrinkles his forehead, and he's like, you're a dour-looking sort. I thought His Highness just kept you around, something amusing to look at. But can you dance? Do you play the pipes? Can you tell jokes? Ooh,
no.
I hope you can tell jokes. Do you know any rude ones?
Well, I know a few. I'm more known for my observation. Not to mention my wonderful singing voice.
She's the Seinfeld of the generation.
What's the deal with the monarchy?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Not to mention that I also am an adept juggler.
Oh, and what other hidden skills do you have?
Many and varied, I say truthfully.
And he scowls and he says, "Dissembly is not something I prefer in my fools. I had one as a boy once, a mountain of a man. We used to watch him pratfall. He was a surprisingly good tumbler. Do you remember him? What was his name?" And his sister's like, "Oh, I do. He's Fat Frederick." And the two of them have like a little giggle, and she says, "Oh, I miss him." And so.
Oh yes, I'm sure you were amused by the lowly pratfalls of such a common and obvious jest. You know, like Joy sort of being like, "Oh yeah, of course you're stupid. Of course you like stupid things."
Yeah, and he says, "Well, to be fair, fool, we were but children."
Children can be excused for liking stupid things, I suppose.
And he nods and he says, "How merciful of you. Do they have children where you're from, Stygian?"
Well, if the question is where I'm from, then they do, because I'm from here. If the question is where my blood is from, then assumedly yes. Stygians also have children, I would assume.
And Tabitha says, "This sounds like a riddle. Are we not all from where our blood is from?" And Soren's like, "Oh, I love riddles." And he looks at you and he says, "I learned a bit of Stygian while I was away." And he says something to you you don't understand, and then gives you this look like, "Huh?" Like,
"Sadly, my lord," I say questioningly. I don't know this person.
Yeah, if they're similar rank to me.
Sadly, my lord, I am not blessed with the tongue of my people.
And he scowls. He's like, "My lord, such a stuffy title for stuffy halls. Call me captain." And he kind of gives you like a fake salute.
And Joy, like, right back, you know, snaps her feet together and, like, you know, tightens up entirely, like, "Captain."
And he finishes the salute and nods to you, and he says, "That's better." And then he laughs, and his sister like punches him and is like, "Stop teasing the fool." And he says to you,
"Well, if not to tease me, then what is the purpose of my existence? I aim to please."
Tabitha grins, and she says, "Well, no, fool, you don't. You aim to speak the truth. And that's why we keep you around. That's why every court has to have a fool. So that when the king is..." And she like glances over as he starts to walk over, feeling melancholy or blinded by his own passions, you are there to set him right.
"Yes, and I am hoping that the king will take me back."
She says, "He's in a sour mood tonight. He may not be in any mood for games. Soren and I were just leaving. His Majesty's all yours." And Soren turns to the king as the king walks up. And what's the king's first name? Dragomir?
Thomas.
So as the king walks up and he says, "You fought well tonight, Tom. Tabitha and I are going to get a drink. Feel free to join us once you've cleaned up a bit." And he kind of winks at the king, and the king scowls like, but it's all in good fun, even though the king's in a bad mood. And the two of them,
I doff
Soren puts out his arm, and Tabitha takes it, and the two of them head out.
I doff my jingly hat and bow at them departing, but as I straighten up, I stick my tongue out and make a face.
So the king walks right up to you, and he's still breathing hard a little bit, like he was fighting hard in that last battle, and he says, "What are you doing here? It's late. Shouldn't you be gathering newt's eyes or something for that witch?"
"Your Majesty, the witch has gone to do something. She said for me not to."
Nah, you're lying.
"Oh, I guess I am." Wait.
You need to tell the truth.
"Your Majesty, I'm very much hoping to avoid the witch in these coming few days. Personally,
And he says,
I say, trying not to say that, but saying that instead.
"What care I for what you desire? You heard my words. You serve the witch until I say otherwise. Or have you come here to beg for me to rescind that order?"
I drop to my knees in front of the king and say, Your Majesty, if I must beg, I will. But the witch is not all that she seems. I know some things that she has said to me in these past few days that make me very much uninterested in remaining in her service.
He scowls. I think you're gonna need to make a test to get him to take you seriously. You're acting like you always do. Like, oh, the big joke. The problem is when you have this boy cried wolf situation where when you're like, I have something important to tell you, and he's like, and then you're like, you stink, haha, and you run away, right? Like,
but
So, I mean, this is ugly truth, right? That you have an ugly truth to tell him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I guess the question is, do you just out and out say it, or are you like, please take me seriously, I have an ugly truth to tell? I feel like the test here is just tell the truth and have him take you seriously.
Yeah. I think basically I'm from this position on my knees on the ground, just going to finish that statement, with like, she has been speaking of treason. And that's the ugly truth, I guess.
Okay. All right.
I would have liked to do this a different way, but I can't tell lies.
You can't tell lies.
Can I fork in?
So
can I fork in
conspicuous
here?
So what does your aura of innocence do?
So aura of innocence is a call on for falsehood and for. I think it's just falsehood.
Right, so it'd help you if you were lying, but telling
it basically helps me if I'm lying. Yeah, telling the truth isn't necessarily.
All right, ugly truth about a nuanced or delicate situation is ob 5.
Oh, good. Yeah, perfect. Fine.
Yeah.
Can I fork in? No, I don't have any.
So what is your intent? If you succeed, the king is going to be like, wait, shit, the witch is going to have me.
My intent is for him to take me back. I'm not really concerned with what he does to her. I don't care.
I love that.
About that.
No, this is great because your priority here is like, I just want to be important and special to you again. And the fact that he'll be like, cool, go and get my lady protector. We're going to go and get Agatha and we're going to throw her in the fucking dungeon because she's a treasonous witch. You don't care about that so much?
No, that's not important. I don't care about that.
Okay. That's fine.
That's not Joy's priority. Joy's priority is like access to fireplaces and the king's good graces once more.
Right.
Does that mean it's necessarily a nuanced or difficult situation in that case? Because she's not trying to put on airs about it. She's not feeding it to him like.
It's
gently.
not about how you present it. It's the delicacy of the situation itself. So let's talk about it. I'll read off the options. So. Stating the obvious worst about a possible outcome. So you're like, we're fucked, when everybody kind of knows you're fucked already. Ugly truth about your family, like your brother doesn't love you, whatever. Ugly truth about your friends. Ugly truth about a complex political situation, or ugly truth about a nuanced or delicate situation. So they're not friends. This is
I'm going to offer a counterpoint to this whole conversation.
Sure.
Which is that there is a skill that is about convincing someone to act on your behalf because it is in their best interest. And that is persuasion.
Right.
This really, to me, feels like persuasion. Because this isn't about...
I guess there's two... Well, there's two...
not an
listen,
argument.
here's the thing. There's two roles. There's two roles. There's... I'm persuading you, by bringing you this information, I'm persuading you to treat me better. Also, the ugly truth of the situation is, if you succeed at that, he'll go and get the witch. He'll believe it. Because I think you can have both. I think you can be like, I heard her whispering treasons. Like, please, I serve you, my king. And he'll be like, the fact that you brought this to me I thank you. I don't necessarily have to believe you or do anything about it. People tell me that the witch is treasonous all the time. The ugly truth here is wait a second, this might be real, right? I feel like there are two separate things happening. Because Joy doesn't care about that other thing, but it's still happening, and I need to roll. Because I think that the thing is here is that it's like your court sorceress is going to betray you, is important. But I think you can.
I mean,
I'm
unlikely to succeed on the ugly truth. Anyway.
Yeah.
And by unlikely, I mean I have 4 dice and it's a 5 ob, so it's like impossible.
But you're definitely also groveling and begging to be.
Oh, I'm definitely also trying to get him to take me back. But I feel like if he believes me,
how about this? It's a link test.
Yeah.
Make the ugly truth test. If you succeed, he will take it seriously enough that you can then be like, I bring this to you because I love you, my lord. Like, I tell you this, even though I know she could curse me with death, right? Like, it's a big gamble for me. That will help your case. Or you make the ugly truth test and you fail, and he's like, this is bullshit. You're just trying to get back in my good graces, but you still get to make the persuade test and try.
Fine. All right. Yeah.
Does that make sense to everybody? Does that feel real? It's one thing with 2 aspects, and that's what link tests are.
And yeah, this particular circumstance is very
complex. Yeah.
A bunch of factors at play here.
Okay. So in that case, if you're not trying to use the linked test, if you're not trying to use the linked test to like spur him to particular action, let's just call it ob 3. Because he doesn't take it that seriously.
Yeah, I need him to not even believe me necessarily about it, but to like sympathize with the fact that I'm trying to tell him something important.
Yeah, and if you succeed at this, you'll get the extra die, and he'll look into it. If you fail, he'll never believe you if you say bad things about Agatha again. Right?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
At least until there's proof.
Fail this test.
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
All right.
Really bad.
So you're like, but the witch, she speaks of treason. And what's great is that we get the dramatic irony level of like failing the test that he should fucking believe. He should like definitely listen. He should definitely crucify Agatha. It would be the smart move here. But he doesn't believe you.
No, he doesn't believe me. Yeah. So then it falls to persuasion, which is like, and I really would prefer if I could serve you directly once more, my king. I feel like it is my place to be at your feet.
Sure. Okay. All right. So you're going to try to persuade the king.
I don't have any persuade. So.
King Tomas Dragomir Larix the 16th has a will of 6.
Yeah. So it's just like an impossible test for me. There's no way.
You get that will test.
Yeah, but I already have the difficult.
What's going to happen if she fails?
I have an idea here. If you fail, you'll see.
What? Aren't I supposed to know what the consequences are?
I mean, it's pretty clear here. Yeah, so it's double and then add 1 for the failed link test. So it's 13 ob basically.
Ob 13. We got this. Yeah. Don't worry, everybody.
I mean,
you
have to roll no matter what. So if you fail, he's going to command you to. He'll pretend to take you seriously. He'll be like, "Yes, of course, someone must watch over this terrible witch. Someone who remains close to her. Someone who I can trust to bring me important information." I think that's a fantastic idea, Joy. Continue to serve the witch and bring me future information. Right? Like, but really, he's like, "Fuck off." Do what I told you, but he's playing you. He's telling you like, and I think you'll believe it.
Yeah. I can't possibly succeed.
Okay.
If I already have a challenging, what does that mean if I get another one?
You just keep it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Needs to get wrecked.
So he picks you up off the floor. He like kneels down and like grabs you out of the arms and like lifts you up. And he looks you in the eyes.
Joy looks really pathetic right now. It's like head hanging, like depending on how much of her weight he is like picking up. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm just going to be pathetic right now.
He picks you up with the intent for you to stand on your own.
And I do.
Yeah, and he lets you go and he kind of like squares your shoulders and he says, I know, of course, Joy, that you only wish to serve me. And you will do so best by keeping an eye on this terrible witch. If she is speaking treason, as you say, I need her to trust you. Serve her well. Stir her cauldron. hunt her newts for her. But listen, and listen well, and whatever else you learn, bring it to me.
But my lord,
your king has spoken. Go.
Your Majesty, what is the point?
He puts his hand on your shoulders and he said, I'll hear no more of this, Joy. Go before you displease me.
I have already done this service. I just came to you.
Good, and continue
Majesty.
to do so. I will take everything that you tell me to my spy master. I promise. He's lying. He's lying. He's lying. He's lying. Do you want to know if he... Do you want to know... Do you want... Here's the thing. I'm going to make a falsehood test. So, he's lying to you. This whole situation is him bullshitting you.
Uh-huh.
And I think we'll roll. And if I succeed, then Joy believes the lie.
Then Joy believes it.
Yeah, and if I fail...
Not.
Which is almost like worse if I fail because Joy knows he's lying, but you can't just be like, you're lying to me, because he'll be like, actually, how dare you?
Of the people who could, I can, actually.
Yeah. So
my will is 4.
Let's see. I haven't given him a falsehood yet. I think he's a goodly man, but trained in the ways of the court. I'm gonna give him a falsehood of his base will is quite high. I'll give him a falsehood of 4 because he would have unlocked it at 3.
I offer to your consideration the circumstantial penalty or ob increase in that, yeah, Joy just is around him all the time, and that he behaves differently around her than he might at court or in other places. That he's not necessarily going to be able to pull a fast one on Joy of all people.
Well, yeah, she's probably witnessed most of the lies and truths that he's told.
I mean, Joy wants to believe this though, right? Joy, you don't want to think that the king is just being like
I want to believe it, but I just had him dismiss a complete truth that I like.
Well, no, but he hasn't dismissed it. He just didn't do what you wanted. He's in fact doing the opposite. He's saying like, yes, I hear you. I understand. I will go to my spy master with this immediately. Like, we know he's lying, but he's telling Joy what Joy wants to hear.
Yeah, I guess she does want to believe it.
It's a believable lie, right?
And
so we'll do both. We'll up the ob and I'll take an extra die.
Okay,
cool.
I don't think that he has a spy master to do all the intrigue shit. I'm gonna have to make a note here. The spy master is going to come have a conversation with you, Joy.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So we need a spy master.
Yeah, you really want to have a conversation with someone whose main skills are falsehood, torture.
Oh yes, the master of assassins. Thufir's on his way. Let me roll this falsehood. Let's see if the king lies to you. What's your will?
It's 4.
Okay, he lies. So, let's see if he lies believably.
The ob is going to be 5 then.
Joy, a woman with a shovel trying to dig up.
Okay, so the king's got 4. The king definitely has some points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna.
Does he waste his points upon a fool?
He rolled a 6. I love rerolls. Let's see if I can get that success. Nope. All right. So Joy, you know that the king is lying to you when he says this. At least some part of this is bullshit. He doesn't believe you. And he just wants you to get the fuck out of here and go serve Agatha. However, even the lies of a king are law, so...
I mean, I can't do anything about it, but on my way out, where is the Lady Protector?
She's around. She's always around.
I'm sure she is. I'm just wondering, like, if I pass her on my way towards...
You can if you'd like to, yeah.
Okay, good. And so as I make my way out, I stop in the doorway where she's, like, posted at the door or what have you.
Yeah, I think she's... Yeah, she's standing near the exit.
So I stop in front of her, and say like, "There's danger in this castle. More than I thought. Keep a good eye." And then like it's like uncharacteristically like flat and no joke, you know, and then just keep going.
Do you want to try and convince her to do
Yeah,
something,
I do.
or are you just talking shit?
I
I know that exact side. That was I want to persuade. Oh.
I don't have fucking persuade. I want to persuade her.
She is difficult to persuade.
I want to persuade her to keep a better, like a good eye out. Like this is my like I'm being serious.
It
like,
is her job. I'll give you an advantage die because you're telling her to do her job.
I mean, a lot of this is performative as well in terms of like I know the king will see me do this too, sort of thing. Whether or not
the
that
king
matters.
has already dismissed you, so you like don't exist.
But... Yeah, whether or not that matters is irrelevant. It's just the thing that Joy is like doing, you know. So yeah, I guess I'll try and persuade the Lady Protector to keep a sharp eye out, and I'll add in watch the witch carefully to that.
Okay.
Okay. So what am I rolling against?
Her will, which is 4.
So 8. Is that a will test or a beginner persuade test?
I mean, it uses the same number of dice. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it ends up being a will test because
in this case, it probably. What's your will?
4.
Yeah, 4 on 4 is. Oops, that's the wrong handout.
It'll be difficult.
4 on 4 is a difficult test for will. Yep.
All right. Well, let's do the thing. It's not gonna happen, but we may as well try.
You have fate points.
Did it roll?
I have not seen the roll.
It's been lagging today.
Okay. I'm waiting.
If it's not showing up for you, then it probably hasn't rolled.
Yeah. You need to try.
Okay, let me try. Let me try again.
Okay. There it is. Well, you got 3 successes against an
so it actually
of
should
8.
be difficult because it's 4 because it's double or whatever.
Yeah, you do. You calculate it before it doubles. Yeah.
Which means my will goes up. Yes.
Nice. Oh, congratulations. Do you want to spend a fate towards your will? Reroll that?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. You might as well, right? Eventual Aristea.
Woo!
You might as well.
4 or 5. Okay.
5 successes.
All right, so mark that next to your will, and yeah, you fail. So I mean, obviously, the failure here is that she gives you a look that isn't. It's not suspicion. It's not like anger. She gives you a look that's like a bit like pity, and not pity because you're a pathetic fool, but pity because like you tell me. I think Joy is pretty perceptive of these things, but you tell me if Joy would notice this. But it's the look of someone who has seen. She sees you embarrassing yourself in a way that she empathizes with.
Yeah.
That she's like, oh, acting like that's not going to get the king's attention. Like he has been rude and dismissive to her in the same way before. Yeah, and so she's just like, she gives you a look that's kind of somewhere buried in there is like I feel you, but I'm not going to listen to you either because
I feel you. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move or say anything, but I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, Joy just throws her hands up and, leaves. Basically.
Storms out. Yeah.
Slight jingle of bells as she like stomps away.
Okay, great. Cool. So we're considerably over on this batch. So we are owed a break. Let's take a quick break here. And when we get back, I think we'll probably have time to do one quick scene between like Miro and Alessandra. And then we'll do closing up stuff. Yeah? Sound good for everybody? All right, cool. Let's take a short break here. And when we return, Miro and Alessandra will have a chat. Don't go anywhere.